second. Oh, fuck me. Literally forgotten how to operate this camera. So, I have been meaning to do this for, I kid you fucking not, like 4 months. Like, I've wanted to post on here again, but I have had so much going on, and this is going to be sort of like a life update slash me like venting about things. Even if it's only for like 50 people who watch, it's still therapeutic for me. And I said in the last video that I posted that I really wanted to, as one of my resolutions for the new year, to like upload more on here. That didn't happen. But there's a lot of contributing factors to that, so I'll talk about some of them today, because if I talk about all of them, I will A, have a breakdown, but B, we would be here until next year. I have plans tonight, and I'm just going to do my makeup. So, I'm not going to talk about the stuff that I'm using too much. This is Bioma Glazing Milk, or whatever the fuck it's called. I have no idea. Like I said, I've been really wanting to post on here for months. So there's been quite a few changes in my life since I last posted on here. And one of which is that I now am a homeowner. I own a home. I'm in my home right now. That, as you can imagine, took up quite a lot of my time and energy. I'm gonna need to put my headband on. Here we go again. I just can't do makeup with my hair and my face like that. And I've been trying to avoid putting my headband on as much as I can recently, because it can really just cause the hairline to recede at an even quicker rate. But you know, it's some things you have to do. You just have to do something. Normally I would use my Wet n Wild foundation, because this is still my go-to. But I'm going to Ibiza in like 4 days, and I'm taking this foundation with me, and I need to make sure that I like it before I ultimately decide to actually keep it in my makeup bag for going on holiday. So there's that. Life just got kind of shit. Towards the start of the year, I believe it was like March, went to Craigtara with my friend. And I found out when I was there that I was going to be made redundant from the job that I had been working for 3 years. Right at a time as well where I was kind of excelling, like I was doing really well in my role. I can actually talk about who I worked for now, because I don't work for them anymore. But I worked for Samsung UK, telephony customer service advisor. I worked as part of the technical support department. I was on a little trip in March, got a notification pop up on WhatsApp from my little works group chat, and someone in the works group chat said, "Oh well, it was nice knowing you all," and I was like, what are you talking about? Because I was on annual leave at this point, because I wasn't, I was on a trip. So, I immediately open up WhatsApp, and I'm like, hold on, what's going on? Because then someone else put like crying emojis in the chat, and I was like, can someone please tell me what's going on? Because there was a lot of messages without any context, and they said that as of the end of June, they would be giving all of our jobs away to people in the Philippines. I was advised at the time not to talk about any of this online. So I don't know what it is that I can and can't actually say, because I just don't want to get into any bother. I've had enough fucking trauma this year, not gonna lie. All of my colleagues and I were basically told that as of the end of June, we would no longer be working for Samsung and taking technical support calls anymore from customers. We weren't going to be doing that. So I was absolutely gutted by that. I immediately broke down in tears. This is a nice foundation. I get on the phone to my mum, I'm like crying. just because I was so gutted by it and the reason that they had provided for like cost-cutting purposes. I'm like, you are a $500 billion business. You do not need to be cutting costs at the expense of minimum wage workers. So it just bothered me that I had put my heart and soul into this company for years, and bye-bye. Really awful. So that happened. Subsequently, 2 days later, I was at a bar on the same trip with my friend. I had quite a lot of alcohol on this particular evening, and I had my first real encounter with a homophobe in real life. Now, I've said this before, I'll say it a million fucking times. The call is always coming from inside the house. There's nobody that's going to spew homophobia unless they are themselves insecure in their sexuality, or if they're just miserable people. It doesn't necessarily affect me when someone is homophobic to me, or homophobic in general, because a lot of the time I just see it as projection, because that's 9 times out of 10 what it is. This guy was like saying homophobic stuff to me outside this bar, calling me like the worst slurs you can imagine. So I, in my drunken state, tried to approach him physically. I did not hit him. I did not touch him. I believe I tried to, which I ultimately wouldn't have done if I hadn't been drinking. I don't actually know what I would have done if I was completely sober, because I've never had that happen to me before. I've never had anyone say homophobic shit to me as an adult in real life, ever. So I don't actually know what my response would be. I guess I would just probably ignore it or laugh or do something. Like, I do find it comical, but I must have been really, really angry. And then given that I had found out 2 days prior that I was going to be losing my job, I kind of just lost it. And I like tried to approach him physically. Now, at this time, like the next day when I had woken up and my face was inflated on one side and my teeth were broken because he had knocked me out, I did not know that was sort of what occurred. I'd only found that out after I'd filed a police report, and they had reviewed CCTV, and they ultimately said that they couldn't move any further with it. They couldn't really do anything to help me because I had approached him physically first. Even though I did not actually hit him first, they deemed it more as a physical altercation rather than an assault. Even though it was a physical altercation as a result of verbal abuse, hate crime. It's not like calling someone ugly. You're shouting awful slurs at me in the street. So there was that, and because I had like approached him, I think I was maybe just trying to be intimidating. I don't even know what I was trying to do, but he hit me and I was just bleeding profusely from my nose. My teeth were broken. When I woke up the next morning, my entire right eye was like swollen shut. I could not open it. That was just a whole awful, dreadful, terrible situation. And I ultimately feel like at the time, because I was dealing with my issue with my job and worrying about finances and stuff like that, because I was going to be losing my job, I almost suppressed the feelings that I had about what happened to me with like the assault, because I'm still going to call it an assault because that's exactly what the fuck it was. The police just were not helpful whatsoever. I had Daily Mail reporters reaching out to me because I put it up on Instagram because I was trying to desperately find out who the guy was that done it so that I could press charges against him specifically. I had reporters from the Daily Mail questioning me, and then the bar that it happened outside of, they were telling me like not to speak to the Daily Mail. But now that I'm thinking about that, it really would appear as though the reason they didn't want me to speak to the Daily Mail was because they didn't want any negative attention towards their bar. I had to basically tell the Daily Mail, like, let's just not do this, like, don't publish an article. I ultimately decided I didn't want an article published anyway. A, because after I found out that the police weren't going to be able to do anything to help me. I just wanted the whole situation to be dropped. This had been going on for like a week and a half of just like me sitting in pain with only being able to see out of one eye, like waiting for updates from the police or from the bar or from the CCTV. I just was done with it at this point. I just couldn't take it anymore. The police asked me, do you want to take this further in terms of like verbal assault? And I just said no. I was like, no, let's just drop it. Like, I don't even want this to continue anymore. I had so much other shit going on with like my job and stuff like that I just didn't want anything else. I just wanted to heal and forget about it. But for trying to forget about something like that was really detrimental to me in the long run, even though it was helpful short term to try and forget about it a little bit. No, I did not deal with that at all because I was so occupied with other things that were going on in my life. So, no. This was the Sleek cream bronzer. I love this. It's a recent addition to my collection, but I really, really like it. It's really great. Wet n Wild Loose Setting Powder. Shortly after all this happened, I spontaneously decided that I was going to go and view a flat. I had one look on, I think it was Rightmove. I had quite a lot of money saved up at this time. Like, to be honest, my issue was not really about money at this time. When I found out that I was going to lose my job, I knew that I had quite a lot of time to find a new job. Because I had so much money saved up, because I was saving up to move out. But I spur of the moment, like very impromptu, decided that I was going to go and view a flat. And I came to view this flat in, I actually think it was the 1st of April that I came to view this flat. Didn't honestly expect anything of it. I just thought, you know what, whatever happens, happens here. Like, I had enough money for a deposit on the place, like I'd saved up quite a bit and I was feeling so miserable. Some might say, what a stupid thing to do when you're about to be made redundant from your job. Like, why would you start looking into buying a property and paying a mortgage when you may be without a job in a few months' time? But it was just sort of like a spur of the moment thing. I really actually don't know why I did it, but I'm obviously glad that I did. However, I came and viewed the place and I really, really, really liked it. Like, I really liked it. It was perfect. There was very little work that needed done to it. Like, for me going into it, I didn't really give a fuck what their living room or bedrooms looked like, because those specific rooms are a lot less expensive to renovate and redo compared to like kitchens and bathrooms. Like, you can recarpet and repaint a living room quite easily, but in terms of having a whole kitchen and bathroom renovated, that's just was not on my to-do list. All of the rooms were nice. I came in, it was like perfect. It's a 2-bedroom flat, and the main bedroom, I loved the wardrobe that was in there. I'll try and put pictures up. I'm not going to do like a home tour. That's not really something that I want to do. But I do post quite a lot of photos and stuff on Instagram. But I loved the wardrobe that was in the bedroom, and they said that that was going to be staying. So that would have came with it, and I really loved the wardrobe. I really liked the slatted, like oak wood vibe. So that was a major selling point for me. The fucking wardrobe. I liked the space, like I just thought it was like ideal for me. I just thought it was ideal. I got in touch with my mortgage advisor at the time and I was like, listen, I'm really, really interested in this property. Like, I really, really, really like it. And she was great. I loved her. If anyone's looking into properties and you want like a good mortgage advisor, let me know, because mine was really lovely. She was great. Now, I knew that buying a home was not going to be simple and straightforward. I knew that it was going to be complicated. I mean, that's just a given. Like, obviously it's going to be complicated to buy a home. And expensive, and time-consuming, and stressful. But I decided, you know what, I really want it. I have the money. At this time, I had started applying for other jobs because my my goal was to actually leave the role at Samsung before they had the the chance to make me redundant. I was like, I want to leave on my own terms. I'm not going to be left without a job. I'm going to make sure that I leave on my own terms before. I'm not even going to give them the satisfaction. So I was applying for jobs like a maniac. I got an interview for a work from home job that I currently am doing at the moment. I still work from home, and that was sort of great because also with the flat there's a spare room, like I said, which is now my office space, which is great. But I decided that I was going to make an offer on the flat. Now, this part was probably one of the most stressful, scary parts, because when you're making an offer, most of the time you don't actually know what other people are going to be offering on it, and there was a lot of people interested in this particular place. So I did not want to have anyone else's input in this, and I'm glad that that's what I chose to do, because I made an offer that was quite a bit more than the asking price. I mean, you would need to offer more than the asking price anyway, ultimately, if you want to actually, if the property is like popular and people really are interested in it. Like, if you offer asking price, you're most likely not going to get the seller will expect you to offer more than the asking price. I offered significantly more, and I remember a couple people saying that that's too much, like that's like, what are you thinking? But ultimately it was the best decision, because the person who offered the second most only offered £500 less than me. So if I had listened to those outside voices, I very well may not have actually gotten the flat. So that happened. I then got put in touch with solicitors and stuff to like do all the paperwork. Now, like I said, this was at the start of April. I didn't actually move in and get the keys until June. So I had no idea that it was going to be such a long-winded, lengthy process, but there's so much stuff that needs to be done, so much documentation and paperwork. It's tedious. It got to the point where it was just really fucking tedious. Now, between April and June, when I moved in here, that was probably one of the most awful times of my entire life. Basically, I had the interview with the job that I'm currently in just now, and I basically got given a conditional offer for it. I just had to give in some like documents and stuff like that. But I was so stressed with the idea of moving out, like moving homes, but also moving jobs. I was really overwhelmed. I ended up taking a lot of annual leave with Samsung. Little did I know that that's not really how it works. I decided that I was just going to take all of my year's holiday entitlement so that I just didn't really need to work for them anymore. But no, you only really get a certain amount of, like, in the first 6 months of the year. So my last paycheck with them was a lot less than what I was expecting it to be, but that was my own fault. I didn't actually know that that was the case, but yeah, don't do that. I was basically just left to do absolutely nothing. I was doing nothing. All the paperwork and stuff I had submitted for the move, it was basically just a waiting game at this point. So I had to just leave everything to the solicitors. And oh my god, for like 2 entire months, I sat and did absolutely nothing, and I got into this like rut with alcohol again. I've spoken about this in a previous video, and a lot of the reason why I haven't posted on here is because I have been like not wanting to provide an update on that, because it's something that I really am still dealing with like constantly, is the issues with alcohol. But at this time in particular, I was so miserable and stressed, and I had nothing to do. Like, I had nothing else that I could do because I wasn't working. I was just sitting, doing nothing, and that was awful. And I was so worried, and then I found out during that time that you're not really supposed to be switching jobs during a house move, which again, I didn't know, but you're really ideally supposed to make your bank aware of that, like the lender of your mortgage. You're supposed to make them aware of that. I was advised not to do that. And technically, I wasn't actually going to be unemployed at any point during the move. I wasn't actually going to be unemployed at any point. I was just moving from one job to another. But I was so worried that I was going to end up like not getting my flat simply because I was switching jobs. It was so stressful. I was so worried about everything, and I just was drinking all the time. I would sit, and again, I've spoken about a couple of these things before. I have more than one eating disorder, and my eating disorder goes very much hand in hand with my issues with alcohol. At this time in particular, when I say I was drinking, I wasn't even like drinking like glasses of drink. It was shots. I was drinking shots of vodka because of my eating disorder issue that I have. I really don't want to talk about in this video. Maybe I'll make a whole video on it at one point. But my eating disorder problem, the sensation of feeling full is a no-go for me. Difficult to explain to someone who doesn't have an eating disorder, doesn't have the type of eating disorder that I have. Feeling full is like a trigger for me, so the thought of like necking back full glasses of like fizzy juice, it was just absolutely not an option. So I was just drinking shots of vodka, and I wasn't even eating like meals, I was just eating crisps, because crisps don't really make me feel full. So if you're wondering what I was doing at any point between April and June of this year, I was more than likely sitting, doing nothing except drinking vodka and eating McCoy's cheddar and onion crisps. That became a pattern of behaviour, and I noticed myself falling into that. Like, I'm very aware, I'm not stupid. Like, I know when I'm going into like a bad way, and I'm quite good at being able to get myself out of it before it turns into like a major issue. But that was so stressful. If you've dealt with stuff like that before, even if it's not like on a problematic basis, everyone has had the feeling to drink when they're stressed out. People get carried away when they drink if they're going through a bad time. That happens to them, like most of us, but I just didn't feel like there was anything else that I could do. I was so unhappy and stressed that I just didn't know what else to do at that time. Got the keys to move in June. I think one of the biggest struggles with this was, obviously I had just started my new job at this time, so I was stressed out about that. At the very start, I really wasn't even enjoying the new job at all. It was very different from my last role, even though it's the same type of job, like it's still customer service, phone calls. It was still very much like different to the last one. Things are a little bit better now, but at that time I was stressed out, and obviously 5 figures left my bank account. So that was an adjustment. I went from being quite financially secure to feeling like, oh fuck. And then I had to obviously furnish my flat. I had basically everything picked out that I wanted to buy for the flat way before I moved in. I had an Amazon cart specifically full of home decor that I wanted to buy, and it was in my Amazon cart for weeks and weeks and weeks, but I didn't want to buy anything until I had the keys. But yeah, so I moved in, pretty much like had everything ordered and bought online immediately after I moved in, like all my furnishings and stuff like that. I'm really happy with the way the flat looks. I'm really happy with it. Like, it is pretty much exactly how I wanted it to be. There was very little work that needed done to it. It was really just a matter of furnishing it. The most expensive thing I bought for the flat was the television in my living room, which is right there. It's the Samsung, which I was really, I wasn't even fully comfortable buying anything from them, but I worked for them. I know the quality of their products is good, and this was actually one of the cheaper 75-inch TVs that I could find, so I was like, fuck it. And I also bought another fucking Samsung TV for my bedroom. So there's that. I almost apologized to my therapist the other day because I felt so bad that there really wasn't much improvement, like, with me since I started. But I explained to her that the reason for that is nothing to do with her. It's really just because this year has been just the craziest, most, like, stressful, scary, like just mentally challenging year of my life. And I just so happened to be in therapy during all of it, and there's not been a whole lot of progress on paper throughout the therapy sessions, but yeah, she's been great. She's been a great help. In a nutshell, the things that have been going on, there's been a lot of other stuff as well. Like I mentioned, my eating disorder is awful. Really bad. Just like, would not wish any eating disorder on anyone. If I had like a worst enemy, no. It can just feel really isolating. And yeah, like I said, I'm going to Ibiza in a few days, which is exciting, other than the fact that the weather app seems to be showing that there's quite a lot of rain over there at the moment, which I said to my friend the other day, it really does feel like just beating a dead horse with me. Like, it just feels like one inconvenience after the other. What else can life throw at me? My car at the moment is like fucking up. There's something wrong with it. I basically took it to the Evans Halshaw garage. They did a repair on my car. I spoke about this in my last video. They did a repair on my car because my clutch burnt out last year. Now, over the last couple months, my gear stick will like get stuck when I'm driving. Like, I'll get stuck on a roundabout because I can't get it out of first gear or into first gear. It'll just get stuck. And it's intermittent. I took it to the Evans Halshaw garage because essentially they said if it's anything to do with the repair that they done last year, then there's a 12-month guarantee on the repair. So any labour or parts that need fixing to rectify the problem, then I won't be charged for it. But they had my car for a week. I was like, listen, if you need to do anything, use my car. You need to drive to buy something from the shop, you're on your lunch break, you want to go to Morrison's and buy a meal deal, use my car. Because I said to them it's an intermittent problem. So the problem with that is that it's not obvious straight away. It really happens when you're driving. So there was that, but they had the car for a week and could not replicate the fault. So they basically just gave me it back. When I called them up to arrange for it to be brought back in, they told me over the phone, oh, our branch is closing. So, you know what I mean? Like, just the inconveniences, I'm like, I just can't, but it's like, small inconveniences to the point where you sound like entitled and ridiculous if you complain about them individually, but as a collective, when you have so much going on, it's like, what else is there? Please let me know. I would love to know the answer. I haven't really been talking about the products that I'm using. The concealer that I used was the Collection Ultra Cover. Blush that I used was, where the fuck is it? Oh, it's this Catrice blush in the shade Blooming Hibiscus. This is great. The NYX Had Butter. Oh, that's a horrible name for the shade. Wow. Dreadful. Made by Mitchell Bronze Pods in the shade Almond Mom. I'm trying my best. My utmost best to do this. It's a real fucking struggle. I was thinking about this in my bed the other night, like, I should be happy right now. I've accomplished so much this year, but it feels at the same time that I've went through so much as well that I'm like struggling to understand why I'm not happy. But it's just stressful, and it can feel quite isolating when you've got other stuff going on as well. It can just feel like a lot. Oh, that one is significantly worse than the other one. Essence liquid ink. I'm gonna just stop right there. Never used this before. I bought this for my holiday, but I'm literally just using my holiday makeup bag right now, so... Am I in fucking focus? Tell me. Or it's the L'Oreal Telescopic Waterproof Mascara. I've never used it before. Let me actually take this off of my head. Oh my god. I've not used this before, but I'm just using my holiday makeup bag right now because it has everything in it that I would like to use. But I bought this for my holiday and I have never used it, so this will be a first impressions. I love the L'Oreal Telescopic Mascara, so I can't think of a reason why I wouldn't like the waterproof one. You know what, it looks really good so far. Milo's birthday today. Let me just include some pictures of him. I was basically watching him all of last week because my family were away. Well, my mum and my stepdad were away on holiday and my sister was working. I've basically been off work for a few weeks for my mental health. He is great. Very high maintenance dog, but he's great. Now, I did plan on talking a bit more in depth about buying your first home. I'm gonna do a full designated video on my advice to anyone who's like looking to buy a home, saving money advice, even just if you're looking for help with buying your first car or anything like that. Like, I had no idea how to do any of this stuff. I had to self-learn all of this. Some little faux freckles. Actually, but I use a root spray to do it. Where is the... Went way too heavy-handed with the faux freckles there. That's crazy. Maybelline Lasting Fix Setting Spray. I've never used this before, but apparently it's really great, so perhaps. So there we go! I have plans with a boy tonight. Oh. Again, that's a whole other thing as well, like the situations that I've had with males, guys, men this year. Really traumatizing me further. But so much to like make individual videos on. Like, I would like to do like just really unpacking everything that I've had going on, but I can't do it all in this video. I will knock myself ill. In terms of Ibiza, I probably won't film too much there. I'm gonna take my camera just for like pictures and stuff, but maybe I'll film like little clips. Maybe that'll be fun. But yeah, I don't know what my next video is gonna be on here, but I did just want to do this. It was quite therapeutic for me. My hands look so orange. I fake tanned yesterday for the first time since my housewarming. My housewarming was in August. So my hands, I swear to God, they don't actually look like that in real life. I don't know how to... Anyways. But yeah, thanks for watching. If anyone still fucking is at this point. Yeah.